good evening, everybody. Matt Geary here for the Geek Pride Cast. Oh, this is the Geek Pride Cast. Oh my God, fucked up already. What's going on, Matt? It's gonna be one of those days. Welcome to Geek Pride's Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition campaign, The Legend of Our Sacrifice. Not the Geek Pride Cast. That's Sunday, Matt. This is Thursday. Oh Lord. Anyway, yes, welcome to Dungeons and Dragons, everybody. This, God, oh my God, this is how it's going to start. This is how it's going to go off for the rest of tonight, I think. But yes, with me as always, we have Michael as Tharaval.
Good evening.
We have Wes as Valshul Nostius.
Hey everyone.
We have Dave as Thomas Moonstar. We have Mark as Lance.
Happy Sunday, Thursday shit.
And we have Pete as Draken.
Evening, everyone, and this is definitely not Sunday.
Right, okay. Let me just copy this over onto this one because it, for some reason, has decided to not do what it's going to do. Paste. Reference. You can go all the way down to the bottom there. Dunk. Yay, that's what we want. Okay. Right, okay, so, long story short, as you can see from the disorganized nature of my intro, I haven't done a lot of prep for today, so we're in dangerous territory. We're gonna wing it, see how it goes. So, from the last session, basically you had prevented the sort of kind of main demon from sort of spawning. You'd killed some lesser demons, and you left the area. You went back to Val's mum's place, Val's mum's gaff, which was sort of like a little campsite in the middle of a glade. Said sort of briefly on the Discord that it's an area of sort of, it's a very beautiful area, but there's like a house in the corner. It's very run down. It hasn't been looked after at all, but there is sort of like this circle of stones sort of on the southern slope of the southern slope of the campsite, which has flowers around it, and there's sort of, it seems to be well tended and well groomed, and Sinway, the way calling I'm the right thing here. Rejoin as no. Why aren't you letting me pick things up? What? Don't let me choose anybody, which is really annoying me. But yeah, so she is taking herself off into the center of this sort of kind of stone circle. She's sitting there. You might as well just sort of describe what you were doing. There is a bit on the Discord chat, so you might as well just sort of kind of describe what you were doing for everybody else, because we didn't really get into loads of detail. So starting off with you Draken, why not?
Okay, Draken is basically spent the past 8 hours flat out asleep. He was exhausted and half dead. Literally, to be fair. So he's just spent the past 10 hours just flaked out underneath a tree, enjoying the sun and just sleeping. And he's talked to Sesway, Valish's mother, about the area, and he learned that apparently there have been several battles in the area. Now, in the course of the past adventure, he's lost his battle axe, which has been with him since the first day of this adventure. So he's feeling a bit out of sorts, disjointed. And so he's basically like about to go for a wander to have a look around and see what he can find.
Right, okay.
And he's
He's here. The squares are a bit off at the minute because disorganization, not being disorganized, basically. And dropping everything behind him as well. So there you go. So you've sort of kind of got up to take yourself off. Well, are you just wandering off randomly, or are you asking?
No, he just kind of say that he's busy now, so he's going to go for a walk around and stretch his legs and see what he can find until like the next few hours. And yeah, if anyone wishes to join him, so be it. But it's something he needs to do.
Right. Where the fuck did I put? Oh my god. Today's gonna be so bad. I can't find my pen now.
He's not even drinking. That's the worst thing.
I am drinking as well. I've got booze too.
Oh god.
It's gonna make things so much more worse. Oh no. And I'm in work tomorrow. Where the hell? I had it. I literally had it like a minute ago. Oh man. All right. Okay. I'm gonna say I'll remember something. I'm not gonna remember. You guys will have to make notes. Okay, so who's up next? Thomas. What are you up to next?
Okay, so Thomas came back from the battle a bit drained and feeling a bit woozy, and took himself off for a decent sleep. I seem to recall that as I was drifting off to sleep, I heard a whispering voice demanding freedom.
Ah, yes.
And,
so as you're sort of kind of so as you're sort of drifting off to sleep, you hear sort of voices calling out to you, going, "Free us! We can bring you power. All you need to do is let us go. Please, sorcerer, let us go. We can have a deal."
So I think I put in the chat that waking up after my good rest, feeling a bit bleary-eyed and thinking back to that voice that I heard. I'm just looking through my spell list to see what I've got. Basically, my thoughts are these voices are coming from the staff or from the balance.
Yeah. Also, on that matter, I'm not sure. Did I say that it's out of balance at this moment in time? So you've basically,
you did.
Yeah. So you
way out of whack at the moment.
Yeah. So you've literally got a lot of dark energy in there.
So we need a good fight to get rid of some.
Okay.
So, I mean, I've got
Literally asking for it.
I haven't really got anything that would tell me anything more than I already know, so I think I'll just find a nice little shady spot in the side of the house and just kind of hold Ogma's balance in both hands and concentrate and see if I can get any sort of insight to it.
Okay, interesting. All right. But Lance.
So I took part in our friendly barbarian's little crisis and pointed out to him that at the end of the day, he'd proven very well that he didn't need the axe, but he would find the axe that was right for him if he gave it time. And there are worse things than to be without a weapon as opposed to just having a weapon and not knowing how to use it. So I then took myself off for a bit of a rest, being a little bit on the battered side, and limbered up. And when I had the opportunity, I went and had a little bit of a chat with our host to ask if, in her travels and her times, she might have heard anything of the eventual fate of those that I used to serve before I was buried away many years previously.
Right. Okay. So on that, so you basically want to know. So from what I remember of the history, is you had your there was the prince, was it, you served?
I was a bodyguard for a prince, for the oldest son of one of the kingdoms that was fighting.
Did he get killed?
Yeah, that was the whole. He got ambushed and he panicked.
Yeah.
And I wasn't able to save him because he panicked.
Right. Okay.
And I was blamed for his mismanagement. He put himself in danger and that was why I got bricked away.
Right. Okay.
because I kind of went null because I'd failed in my task. I'd had an impossible task to do, sort of thing.
See, I don't want to sort of with that one because it's going to have an effect on because the history of their sort of line, and I can't remember 100% sure who's who when it comes to Kyrelian kings and who's on the throne and stuff at the minute. So, what sort of information are you trying to grasp from that, other than
I'm still kind of a bit adrift, and I'm just trying to get a bit of an idea about how things line up from where I were before. Because obviously, from my point of view, I was buried as a failure, and from that side of things, a bodyguard, even a bodyguard that failed, would normally be sort of given other tasks, sort of thing. But
so actually okay, so um she let's see. Senway sort of looks at you with a sort of inquisitive look, but you can tell there's sort of there's sort of kind of a warm feeling and understanding there, and she says to you, do you seek redemption from this knowledge?
I seek understanding. From what I can recall, and my memories are fragmented, I was in a situation which was impossible. But the way that I had been made, I was driven to find a solution, which is why I was in the state I was in. And I function and I work, but there's a hole. There's an uncertainty that if I failed then, will I fail again? And I seek to understand what happened after I went, and maybe learn some more so that I can put some of that to rest and move forward
Okay.
rather than being defined by my past.
Okay. Okay. So she'll tell you that the line, sort of in a sort of kind of a brief version, because I don't have it all, but the line was broken. Actually, no, because his brother hadn't it been broken because his brother took over, didn't he? Did his brother take over? Fuck, I can't remember now. So many little sort of strands of different sort of kind of things.
I gave you like 2 weeks, man.
I know. I have no excuse. I have no excuse. I should have, but yeah. I had no excuse. All right. I think I'll get you something onto WhatsApp about that. It's going to be it's going to have to be quite in depth and stuff. And me sort of kind of spitball on it is probably not a great idea. So we'll leave that part and stuff. Though, if there is specific things that you kind of want to gain from it, like, or if it means you're going to go off and try and search for somebody, or if it's going to change your sort of kind of direction in things.
I think it's more just about kind of surety,
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So she'll tell you what she knows about she knows about Kyrelian history, and what happened to that dynasty, and the family and stuff. And I will stick that in the Discord once I finally sort of figured it all out. And it's not like I could probably make something up, but I don't want it to contradict something I've already said or I've done already in the thing. So I've got to look through all the bits and pieces and stuff so it doesn't contradict itself.
Many shotguns, only 10 toes.
Okay, Tharival.
So Tharival sort of took himself off and he was sort of kneeling, looking toward the sort of centerpiece in the glade, which kind of reminded him of whenever he was a child, and his parents used to take him and his twin brother to a sort of what was known as a wishing stone in the sort of town center, and it's kind of like a wishing well. People would sort of leave little trinkets and gifts and things like that, and in return they could make a wish, and the more the grander the offering or whatever, the larger wish and the more likely it could come true. At least this is what they were told by their parents and things like that, and it was in a sort of attempt to sort of teach them that sort of solid, what's the word? I've actually just forgotten how to describe it. It's like, things that you own aren't everything. It's about life experience and things like that. So just because you've got lots of money, material things, that's what I was looking for. It's trying to sort of teach them a lesson like that. At which point, he started drifting off into his trance. And when he did, he started hearing a soft spoken voice. Now, from what I remember, basically the voice sort of said that, that was it. Sorry, as he was drifting off, he sort of was saying to himself as if sort of telling himself that this actually was the wishing stone, and he was almost sort of like reenacting in his head that he was making a wish, but because he didn't have anything to actually offer and anything material to offer, he in his mind he was putting himself upon the wishing stone and offering himself, but he didn't actually sort of register what his wish was. And as he was doing that, he sort of drifted off into his trance. At which point he starts hearing a soft voice saying that his wish may come true, but it'll bring great darkness, and death will sort of come hand in hand with it. At which point he starts questioning as to he's not entirely sure what he wished for. There's a lot of things that he wishes, but he's not sure what means the most to him. Does he want to see he wants to see his brother alive and well? He wants to see his mother again. He wishes his father was still alive and his village was still flourishing. But again, they're all sort of. He kind of knows at the back of their head they're only wishes for as if he was wishing as a child. They're not necessarily going to come true or anything like that. But again, the voice sort of just basically sort of drove home that he kind of needs to make a choice of what if he gets what he wishes for, it's probably going to be a bad thing for everyone else.
What did you wish for, Ray? I would wish something really helpful, really just harmless. That wouldn't hurt anybody.
Yeah, what did she say? What did she say to you?
So, she said, "Your wish may come true, Tharavel, but will only bring darkness and death with it." A calm female voice says under her eyes. Tharavel replied, "I'm not sure what I wish for. I wish to see my brother alive and well. I wish to see my mother again. I wish my father were still alive. My village was flourishing. But I know that these are all still just the hopeful wishes of a child. I have nothing to offer but myself, and I fear that is not enough. And if what you say is true, and with these wishes comes darkness and death, am I being selfish, wanting them to come to fruition?" She replied, "One day you will see your mother and your brother, but I have never foreseen you all together. His path is directed by dark forces, and I fear your reunion will not be what you wish for." He replied, "I fear you're right. I fear you're right as well. I'll have to tell him the wrong that I've done in killing his friend." And that's the point he actually asks who the voice is. And she says it's the you sit in my glade, ranger, and the forces that took my family are seeking to destroy yours. So I'm assuming it's Val's mother.
Yeah, that is.
So she says, "With sacrifice, ranger, one way or another, you will have to give up something. You all will. To bring light, there is always shadow." And he replied, "I know this truth too well. I lived in the light and in the shadow. One does not exist without each other in the darkness of the light." And that was basically it for him.
No, okay.
So he's not really done much. He's just sort of had a bit of a sort of think in the corner, and he's probably just woken up from that and then gone off foraging.
Okay.
With this all on his mind, I suppose.
Val, then you had a little bit. I blame Val because he ignored me, and then
I didn't ignore you. I told you I never got the ping, and then I kind of just absorbed myself in Three Kingdoms. So I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Disgraceful.
It is. I neglected the chat. I'm sorry.
Unacceptable.
Priorities, bitch.
Got a lot going on, alright?
Yeah. Kingdoms to be destroyed.
Exactly.
So let me just see. I can't flick over from this because it's going to move the. Can somebody sort of kind of read out what the what it says about Val's thing? Then we'll just do that.
There isn't anything about. I can't see anything.
Will you sit with me for a moment, my son?
Yeah, it should be at the start. We are home. It should
be
right.
Like yes, right.
We are home.
In a lady's voice, please, Mike.
in a creepy lady's voice.
That's
or did you do like sort of deep south or something, western? Will you sit with me for a moment, my son?
Oh, wait, she says something else. She says like we are home, isn't it? So there's other parts to
it. It's further up.
Further up. It sort of describes the glade and how the.
Oh right, okay. Yeah. After the final demon is slew with a cut from Val's blade, Ogma's balance starts to vibrate and heat up as a wave of dark ethereal smoke rushes towards it, filling up one side of the staff's chambers. After leaving the temple, Val's mother leads you through the woods to another glade. Within stands an old run-down house. Its perimeter are broken fencing and overgrown weeds. Only one place seems to have been cared for and tended to, and it is a patch of land at the foot of the sloping hill just south of the former gardens. Surrounding it are flowers, trinkets, and a circle of smooth stone with what looks like an ornate pole sticking out of the center. Ripped fabric fluttering in the wind, where maybe a banner once hung. She turns to Val and kisses his cheek. Happiness with an underlying sense of sadness hanging on her face as a tear drops from her cheek. We are home, Valishul. He turns to the group. I have little but my memories here, but for what is it worth, make yourself at home and rest. No evil will stalk you here. She walks over to Mule Brenner and scratches his head with one hand and produces an apple for him to eat with the other. The mule brays and she laughs. I know not, but I'm sure you'd have him no other way. She replies and feeds him with the apple. She then walks over to the stone circle, kisses a locket on her neck, and sits near the pole. Looking up at Draken, she smiles. Dragonborn, Mule informs me that you are heartbroken. When I asked him why he said you'd lost your axe. Is this true? Does an axe, a weapon of the death and destruction, and its loss fill you with such sorrow?
Yeah, and then that's why you said your bit about the axe. Yeah. And then that's right.
Incompletion.
And then basically she asks Val to sort of kind of come and sit with her and stuff. Val, you recognize this place. It's not very strong, but there's that feeling of, you as much as you've sort of got the underlying dread, or there's maybe a bit of sort of sickness. You sort of. This place, and sort of kind of the emotion of that is still sort of is within you because this is where you grew up.
Oh, great. Oh, I've got to start out with this. Why have you done this to me? I should have replied on Discord. This is not could have been avoided.
Lesson learned.
Okay. Well,
so yeah, she walks over and she sort of kind of like
gonna go and join her at the pole.
Yeah.
Give her a couple 20s.
Wow. That's your mother, man.
Mama's gotta eat.
Oh. Wow.
Remind me again, what's he a paladin of?
Oh dear.
Oh god. So she sort of she sort of pats beside her and asks you to take a seat with her.
Valishal joins her.
And she sort of kind of just stares at the stares at the sort of kind of the shaft of what you will know. It looks like a spear shaft, sort of sticking into the ground, with a sort of like Michael described. It's got what looks like sort of kind of torn fabric drifting from it. She sort of kind of looks at you, smiles, and then sort of kind of closes her eyes and doesn't say anything.
Oh, I'm so bad at this. Okay. I kind of get that it's obviously his grave, or at least where he's buried. So Valashul doesn't say anything, but stands up and removes the tattered banner from his backpack pouch.
You got the reference. Yes. I was kind of thinking, I was like, are you going to get it or not? Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
And places it alongside the other shred of fabric that's hanging off the spear.
She sort of opens her eyes and she looks at you and she said, "You kept it. You kept his banner, my boy. You kept his banner." And sort of she starts to well up slightly and cry as she sort of kind of picks up the piece of fabric and sort of places it against her face, sort of wiping some of the tears from her eyes.
Ruined my banner.
Mom.
Gotta put it in the wash now. Nah. Okay. I feel like embracing someone in plate armor is gonna be a bad idea. So he affectionately puts his hand on her shoulder and gives it a gentle squeeze.
And she says, "You know what this place is, my son, don't you?"
It wasn't hard to figure out. It's obviously where my father rests.
Yeah. This is the place where he fell in battle, and this is the place that I buried him. This is where you found him and came looking for me. She says, I want you to have this. And so she sort of kind of stands up, sort of from a cross-legged position, but sort of quite gracefully stands up, and she pulls out the spear from the center of the grave and said, "He would have wanted you to have this." And she presents you with this quite ornate looking. It's weathered, but the tip is of a sort of silvered gold. It's not very garish in a gold way, but it's sort of kind of, it's got a sort of, it's yellow, white gold effectively. It's got very ornate sort of kind of designs in it. And she sort of hands it to you and says, "This was your father's spear. It is now yours."
Valashul holds the spear across his arms, taking it in awe, and says, "I will honor my father's soul and vanquish evil with this spear, just as he did before me."
So as you say that, you... Oh, I was going to do this. See, no, I've got sort of ideas how the spear is going to work. No. No, we'll leave it for now because I don't want to sort of kind of. I'll leave it for now. Okay, so yeah, so you take the spear, and as you sort of hold it, you feel sort of like your father's with you, like that, that like a part of him that you remember from your childhood is there with you. You know, you hear sort of a voice in the back of your head, not a malice one or a harsh one, but one that sort of kind of fills you with sort of strength and and uh, strength and warmth.
Okay.
So yeah, so she sits back down again and sort of cross-legged in front of the where the spear was, and that's that basically.
I sit down and join her in quiet reflection.
Okay. Spear stats wise and stuff, I'll let you know at some point and stuff. I know you've got Holy Avenger and stuff, so I'm going to
I've got lots of holy weapons now.
so I'm going to sort of I'll have to see. I'll have to figure it out and stuff. But yeah. So you've got the spear. You can. I might do what it is. You might have to give up Holy Avenger. I don't know, to keep the spear, but I don't know. I'll have to see. Basically, the way it's going to be is I think the stats are going to be that it's going to be good, but it'll be slightly different than the other thing, and we'll see. So,
It's mine.
We'll
Stop
see.
taking it from me.
It's mine. So we'll see. Okay, so everybody's kind of done their thing. So let's see. Thomas, you're sort of kind of focusing on the Ogma's balance and its darkness. What's your thing? What are you doing? You meditating? Are you trying to commune with it? How are you sort of?
I'm sort of just concentrating, meditating, trying to get a feel for it to see if there's any sort of vibe I can sense from it that I can start any threads I can start unraveling.
As you sort of kind of start that didn't come up. Shit. In there, it's not showing up on the screen. Oh, you got a 19. Well, it got a 19. So as you start sort of focusing on Ogma's sort of balance, you are sort of you start hearing the voices again. It's like, sorcerer, let us out. We can make you powerful. All you need to do is use us. Let us out, and we can give you everything that you desire. So it's like a chorus of sort of kind of different voices. It's not just a solitary voice, it's multiple sort of kind of voices going through this. Through that, you also hear sort of a not a weak voice, but a fragile sort of voice, but quite assertive, telling you to ignore them, be strong, do not give in to their lies.
Okay, so in my sort of trancey meditative state, I will think the words of how would I go about releasing you?
Yes, good question, sorcerer. To release us, all you need to do is use the balance. You need to use the balance to let us go. More powerful, the more you use. You know this to be true. And power you crave, we can give you power.
Okay. I'll stow the balance for now.
You're going to... Okay.
I've got all I need from them for now.
Okay. All right. Okay, Draken. You're wandering off into the forest on your own.
Yep.
Is anybody going with him?
Well, no, I've been chatting with somebody.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else?
I think Tarval's kind of off diddling about the woods, foraging anyway on his own. So
Okay. All right. So, Draken, I'll not change things. So you sort of take yourself off into the forest. What's your sort of aim when you're sort of wandering around? What are you looking for?
Well, he's basically seeking a new battle axe.
Right. And what's your survival like, by the way?
Oh, you joke, don't you? Actually, it's 4.
Is it? Have you got a 4 for your survival skill?
Yeah.
Or is it actually just 4? Is your modifier 4?
Yeah.
No, you're lying. Seriously? How have you got a 4 for survival?
He ticked it in his when I was first creating Draken.
Okay, right. So you're going for survival. Okay, right, cool. So roll me a survival check then.
What's your rolling one?
Yeah, okay.
Not terrible.
That is an 8. So you sort of kind of wander into the forest, because obviously maybe being tired or being slightly sort of annoyed that you've lost another axe. You don't really make any you don't take any notice of where you're going, and you soon find yourself lost in the middle of the forest.
Okay, Draken just
You can keep on going. So it's
isn't going, but tries to kind of plot his way out of there. So reorientate himself.
You're going to try and reorientate yourself.
Basically, look for.
Are you looking to go back? Are you sort of looking to still try and find a place?
Actually, more likely climb a tree.
You want to try and climb a tree?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Give me an acrobatics then, I guess.
Could I use athletics instead?
Mm.
For pulling himself up. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it would be athletics for climbing.
Yeah. Okay. Athletics then.
Thank goodness, got 7. Yep, let's do that.
13. Yeah, you sort of kind of climb up a few branches, but you're not really going anywhere. They're quite big trees.
Yeah, but basically looking for waypoints. Like
you're in the middle of a thick forest.
Yes, but there will be mountains and
you're looking at trees everywhere. Have you ever been in a forest? If you climb into a tree,
Yes.
are you going to see anything but just more trees around you? And you're
Are
not
you honestly telling us that he can't see the woods for the trees?
Yes, pretty much.
Okay, then fine. Jack will just keep wandering and try to reorientate.
So you're climbing down again?
Yeah.
All right, give us a climb. Or athletics then. Yeah, okay. You kind of stumble your way out of the tree, and are completely lost.
Okay, Jack can just keep wandering.
Okay. Right, Tharval, you're off, sort of foraging, I guess. Is there anything specific you're looking for, or?
Well, I think he was just sort of getting. Well, he collects food and berries and things like that for the group. But I suppose while he is doing it, he can sort of look for tracks and things like that, or attempt to.
Okay.
So survival, yeah.
I think it's survival. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. You see numerous tracks for animals, game, things that you could hunt for. You could hunt for, the party. there's quite a majestic looking deer into the north. It's got it's got five sort of not five. It's got the two antlers, but there's three in one, two on the other. No, actually, I lie. It's got two on each, and then there's a sort of kind of like a separate one that seems to kind of like jut out on its own.
What?
So you've got
Deer.
so you've basically got a deer with five little antlers.
So it's 5 antlers going one direction and then
No,
a single antler on.
No. So it's got basically it's got two antlers, yeah, but they've got like it's got I'm not sure what they call them, the spars,
branches.
the branches of them. Yeah, so you've got two big sort of kind of branches on each, but then there seems to be on one of the sort of kind of antlers, there's sort of like a separate one of its own, sort of kind of coming out. There's
Right. Okay. I don't really know what to make. Well, I do know what to make of that, but I don't really know what to do with it. And I can't really kill the deer because I don't have I don't have any strings on my. Oh, no, I do. I've got
You borrowed mine.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Suppose I'll try and kill the deer.
Okay. So you're gonna. Is Nanook with you, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
So.
Right. So. You're just shooting at it then. You just shot the deer. Okay, so you miss anyway. So you sort of kind of like you shoot, and it sort of kind of pings past it, and sort of kind of embeds itself in the tree. The deer sort of, as you're quite adept at sort of kind of shooting, the miss wasn't really, it hasn't spooked it because it hasn't collided with it and stuff. But it sort of kind of looks up, and sort of kind of looks around. And it stares right at you.
Okay. I'm gonna put the bow away and try and approach the deer slowly.
Okay. Do you want to give me a stealth roll?
Well, I'm sure. Can it see me? I mean, I'm not trying to hide from it. I'm just trying to actually approach it without sort of spooking it off.
What sort of animal handling have you got?
Yeah, I can do animal handling. Should I just roll for it?
Yep. Okay, so you sort of kind of walk forward slightly. You've got your hands open. Nanook sort of kind of following, padding behind you. The deer sort of kind of looks slightly uneasy, but sort of nudges itself forward. It wants to know what's in your hand, and comes up and sort of kind of starts sort of kind of sniffing at your hand.
Okay. It just sort of reached my hand out slowly to try and gently place it on the deer's sort of head and sort of gently stroke its nose.
Okay.
But maybe just lower myself to the ground a little to make myself sort of seem smaller. Almost as if I'm sort of like kneeling or bowing before it.
Okay. All right. Draken, give me a survival check.
Okay.
As you sort of kind of hold your hand out, for this thing. This enormous crash comes through the woods as a very dishevelled and frustrated dragonborn crashes through these bushes, spooking the deer. That sort of kind of takes one sort of sniff, makes a sort of kind of like deer grunting noise, and starts to sort of kind of run off into the forest.
I can just nods to a fireball and just keeps going. No clue what's happened. He just goes, all right, and just keeps walking.
Oh dear.
Tharavel drops his hand, sighs, shakes his head, and then follows Draken back. If the deers ran off, I'm assuming, yeah.
There's no way he's going.
Okay, so so the both of yous are sort of, you're following Draken then.
Yeah.
Okay,
Jack's
so
just wondering.
Lance, what are you up to then?
So obviously, not wetting myself laughing like I am right now. After my conversation with our host, I decided to take a walk to contemplate what I've learned.
What you will learn.
Yes, exactly.
What you will
You
learn.
have will have going to have learned.
What you will
Exactly.
learn.
There we go. Have what
she'll-
I'm going to
I'll-
and maybe learnt.
what she'll say to you as well, I think, is that this area, because you're in Cragmere and stuff, was formerly a part of the Empire, and sort of kind of, or was a what's the word, a vassal state of the Empire for a while. It made a lot of money from the trade from the sort of kind of dwarven kingdoms to the north into Corellia. But it's through multiple wars. It has been a sort of a battleground for many for many of the wars over the thousands of years of Freya's sort of lifetime. It therefore is scarred and has much evil starting to bubble up through its sort of the death that has seeped into the ground.
Okay, so as I get up to have a think about it, I noticed that obviously there's not many people left around, with Tharavel and Draken and Nanook having wandered off, and Valashul obviously having his own things on his mind. So I walk over to check in with Thomas, who's looking pensive and possibly a little tiny bit worried. And so I walk over and I squat down next to him and say, "It appears to be a day for frowns and puzzled looks, does it not, my friend?"
There's certainly been a lot of developments in the last 24 hours. Or however many hours there are in a Corellian day.
I'm trying to think how many days of so I'm trying to figure out the timeline on this. So it was day 19, was it, or something? How many days have you been in Cragmere? So it took you a day to get there. You were in
Village a day.
the village a day.
Travel to the village, in the village a day, because we had all the stuff overnight. And
Did
then
we
picking up in the
spend the
morning.
night with the farmers?
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
Then
So
they
4
left
days?
it, and then you been in here. So yeah, 3 or 4 days you've been around. Okay, yeah, okay.
We've been up to a lot in 4 days.
Yes. Yeah. 4 days.
Adventurers, you just can't keep them pinned down.
Yeah. Who's got the sending stone, by the way?
Danny. It was in the Galandra bra.
Oh, it wasn't the Galandra bra. Okay. All right. Right. So back to Val. Is there anything kind of more? Do you want to ask anything? Do you want to sort of kind of do anything, or?
Oh, I'm not prepared for this. I don't really know. There are questions I have, but I don't know how to ask them, or I don't know. No, I'm good. I'll leave it at that.
No, I'm okay. I'm all good. It's just like
No,
she looks at
ASMR
it,
meant to
she's
be
like,
quiet anyway.
you must have many questions. I will answer anything
Great.
you want of me.
No, Ma, it's okay. I got nothing.
It's all right, Ma. I'm all right. So
That's
there's
good.
lots of stuff you can maybe ask about, sort of like stuff. But it's, if you want to leave it, we can do it. You can do it in a chat afterwards or something. But
Do I know how he died?
all you know is that you found he was asleep when you found. Well, he was asleep, inverted commas, when you found him, and then you've gone searching for your mother, with your wooden sword, and you found her in the village, in the destroyed village, basically with a lot of dead people around. Her basically sort of kind of covered in blood and generally looking sort of ashamed of herself.
Okay. So, Valashul asks her what actually transpired that night.
She looks at you and she says, "There's much all this time apart. There's much you don't know about me, and for all of the goodness that was in your father, he evened me out. I was not always the brightest of light, and he saved me from myself. Unfortunately, with his death, that darkness came out, and all I saw was rage, anger, and vengeance. And to those who had taken my love from me, your father, and all I wanted was to see them die. And so I killed them all. I killed every one of them. Man, woman,
The younglings.
child, the younglings too.
Just a bit of interest. Is his mum a redhead? From that widely known lesson from sci-fi and fantasy. Don't piss off the redhead.
Yeah. So she basically says, there's more to her than I'm of druidic descent, and with that can shape change. The creature I became that night was a creature of wrath and destruction, and none of them had a chance. And I am ashamed of that moment every day. And when she came to me, I swore I would never form that beast again. I would never be that person again. I would never lift a hand or a sword or a stave or a dagger against any living creature again. I would be one with nature, and I will not harm anything.
What am I trying to say? Let me think. Oh, I don't know. Sorry.
I suppose it's all right. So the sort of the inference would be who she is. So she basically sort of she speaks that the dragon that walks as a woman was here. They called Tiamat, who likes to corrupt or encourage those with darkness within them, tried to take me from my beloved side. But she was the one who cast darkness into the hearts of the local people and set them against me and your father. What you don't understand is they didn't, actually set them against me. Your father was just defending me. They knew of who I was, they knew of what I'd done in the past, and she showed them where I was. Your father defended us, you and me, from them, and his life was taken because of it. And she says that after you saw me in that form, give me a history check.
Okay. Yes.
Yes. All right. So you're not really. You kind of know that you just before you sort of she saw you in the village. You saw the form that she was in. You just can't. You've either blocked it away, or you don't want to think about it, or it's gone because you were too young. But she knows you saw her in that way, and she says, I cannot take that form again. That form will take me and will be the end. I will never see you again. And because of that, I had to let you go. You were safer somewhere else, away from me, with your people, with your father's people. And that's why I sent for Azrael. And that's why you are the warrior you are now.
Valashul replies, but you've served your penance for what you did. Sometimes wrath is necessary to vanquish the evil from this land.
She looks at you and smiles and says, I will never pay back for what I have done. I can never bring back the lives of those women and children that I killed with no mercy, with no thought, with no heart. I cannot bring back your father. All I can do is be here for you and take every moment I can to be with you before the end comes. But I will never be, there will be no redemption for me. This is my punishment. This is my penance. Okay, we can leave it there then.
Yeah.
We can leave that there. Okay.
I'm not very good at improv.
Yeah. So she sort of, you're both sitting there, and she's sort of, she's sad. She's sad, but she's happy and stuff. You can tell that there is sadness within her, but she's happy because you're there. And you can tell that, she is, just being with you is all she wants. So Tharaval and Draken, what's the score?
Draken just keeps wondering.
Are you just following Draken, Michael, or are you sort of trying to steal him?
I'm following, and Tharval sort of pipes up. Where are you going, Dragonborn?
This way.
Why that way?
Better than that, way.
How do you know?
How do you not know?
Because that's where we came from.
All right, so roll me a survival, Draken.
We're going to walk into a cliff, aren't we?
Nope.
Okay.
Today.
Okay. So where is it you want to go? What is it? Are you wanting to go back towards camp? Are you
Oh,
trying to
basically,
find something that sort of takes you?
He wants an axe.
Yeah. Well, Draken was told that there's been numerous battles in this area
Okay.
by Sifway. Was it Sifway?
Yeah.
What? Vanish's
Something
mum.
like that.
And basically, he's just kind of as you told, like, you might be able to find such a weapon there. Now, Draken's of the opinion that given that a battle axe is such an important part of a barbarian, that it's not a weapon you can just buy from a shop. It has to be found, or at least just as the barbarian finds the axe finds the barbarian.
Okay.
He's got to be going for a more spiritual approach to it.
Okay. So you, as you're sort of kind of making your way through the sort of kind of thick undergrowth of the forest, you do sort of see the strata of what would have been a you see signs of human sort of human sort of waste, sort of like you see arrowheads, you see bits of cloth, things like that. They've been there for a long time. This is stuff that is you do see the odd sort of kind of bone, sort of kind of sticking out of the ground, either over mossed or bleached by the sun. So that in this area there was some sort of encounter. The size of it or what it was, you're unsure.
Okay, Draken bends down, doesn't touch anything, just looks and see what's right there.
Do you want to give me an investigation roll then?
Do I have to? Because my investigation is terrible.
If you don't want to roll my investigation.
Do you want to bet on that?
So yeah, you're not really making much from it. There's some arrowheads and things like that, old arrowheads and stuff, but you're not really finding anything of any sort of major note at this moment in time. Tharavel, do you want to tell Tharavel what you're doing or what you're looking for, and I may be able to sort of...
Marvel's a clever one. He'll figure it out.
All right.
I hope he doesn't have to roll investigation for that.
All right, Tharavel. Draken sort of kind of just stoops down and starts sort of poking around in the sort of the sort of kind of strata of the forest, and looking, picking up sort of kind of arrowheads and throwing them away, and looking at things.
He won't be touching anything.
Oh, okay.
He won't be touching it.
Yeah, so he's just
So
he's just looking at stuff and not really saying very much.
Can I sort of perceive anything on if I roll perceptions or anything? I can sort of...
Yeah, you can roll me a perception roll then. You see a glint. You see a glint over by what looks like a pair of rocks, and it's sort of kind of it's like an A-frame set of rocks, and there's sort of a glint in the center of these rocks. You're not sure what it is, but you catch it from the sort of whatever sun is sort of kind of breaching the foliage of the forest. You sort of see that glint coming from that. You also notice the deer off to your right.
Okay, so Tharavel shouts over to Draken to get his attention and points towards where the glint is coming from, but he's he's pointing, but he's not really sort of paying attention to where he's pointing because he's kind of looking sort of towards the deer at the same time. But he sort of shouts to Draken, there's something over there, something shiny over there. But as he points, he starts to slowly walk towards the deer again.
Okay. So you're walking towards the deer.
Yep.
Draken, what are you doing?
Draken goes to where Farrell was pointing.
Okay, so you sort of kind of wander over to the the sort of the rocks. So roll me a investigation again, I guess. Actually, roll me perception first, so you see if you perceive sort of
goodness.
where he's pointing to, I guess.
Oh, no, sorry, wrong button. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you're trying to persuade the rocks to rocks. Oh, brilliant. Okay. Yeah, okay. So you know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
As you sort of he sort of kind of points and you sort of kind of look over and you see this sort of kind of glint coming from the center of these rocks. As you get there, you notice that there seems to be a lot more. So there's like old spears, and there's what looks like two sort of like horse carcass, well, not carcass, horse, bones and things like that around. You also see a helmet, an old helm, lying on the ground, and am I going to make you investigate that? No, all right, okay, because you're going to feel it, and then you're never going to get it and stuff. All right, so you see what is a sort of a skeleton or part of a skeleton within this sort of kind of this rock formation. There's a sort of, or there's sort of like, it's like moss and leaves and sort of, foliage and stuff from that sort of forest kind of overhang, but you can see that it is it's a warrior. That this was the last resting place of a warrior. How he met his end, you may never know. But lying by his side is an axe, covered. It looks like it's seen better days, but it has its gleam. As you sort of kind of run your finger down it, it's still sharp.
Okay.
After how many years it's been there, it still seems to be sharp. And as you sort of kind of dust it off, some of the moss and stuff off it, you see these runes, sort of kind of engraved upon it.
Can Jack read the runes?
Do you have any? Do you know runic language?
I know languages. I don't know which language.
I think you've got Draconic and Common. I don't think you sort of kind of will understand runes. It's something you might have to sort of investigate later. But yeah,
okay.
You can. So it's there. It's grasped in the hands of the warrior that had it.
Is the obviously the warrior is dead, but how dead is he? I mean, is it a skeleton of it, or is it like a corpse?
It's a skeleton.
Right. Okay. Jack crouches down next to the warrior, and doesn't try to take it. He just basically looks at the axe first, examines it, and then he asks permission.
So what is it? What are you saying to him? What are your words to the skeleton?
My axe is gone, destroyed in the battle against demons. With your permission, I would like to take your weapon and continue its journey with me.
Roll me persuasion.
I'm good about one here, aren't I?
The ghost says no.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant! Wow.
Kiss a jelly baby.
As you sort of, as you say it, sort of you're nearly certain that the hand opens for you, like in your mind that's what happens.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to believe me, but
No,
the,
no,
ha-
yeah.
the hand opens, and it's like it sort of fell. It falls beside, so the axe is sort of kind of lying on his chest, but no longer does it. Is it grasped in the hand of the this fallen warrior?
Okay. Draken carefully picks it up and says, "Thank you." And then he's going to basically just get a feel for it, get a balance for it. Just
Okay.
wave it around, just get the feel for it, put it in his back, and then he's going to build a cairn for the warrior.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, cool.
Just basically pile some stones onto his remains as just a form of remembrance, and then he'll basically find his way back to the camp.
Okay, so what are you doing, Tharval, when Draken's doing this?
He's still slowly approaching the deer, but he's sort of keeping Draken in his peripheral to make sure that he doesn't sort of like charge over and scare the deer off again.
All right, do you want to give me a survival? Oh, actually, it'll be animal handling. Sorry, animal handling. If you're sort of trying to sort of
Yeah. Balls.
you spook the deer, and it sort of kind of runs off slightly further up into the forest. It's still in your sight. You can still see it. It's just sort of kind of further on into the forest.
So Tharval sort of he sort of crouches low and approaches, tries to just sort of approach slower, sort of extending out his hand again.
Okay, give me another animal handling then. Okay, yeah, this time it works. So you're more sort of kind of subtle with your advances on it, and you move closer to towards the deer, to the point where it sort of kind of. Are you sort of kneeling down, or how are you sort of getting towards it?
Yeah, so he's sort of kneeling just in front of it. So it's basically its head's going to be sort of above him, but he's basically sort of almost saying that he is, in a sort of physical sense, he is below the deer, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay. So the deer sort of kind of effectively like bows its head down to you, and sort of kind of starts sort of sniffing your hair, and sort of being quite interested in what you are and what you're doing here.
Again, can I sort of reach out and try and just sort of touch it on the head?
Yeah. So
I don't really know where I'm going with this, to be honest. I'm just hoping something happens.
As you sort of kind of reach out, you sort of kind of put your hand through this, and it's quite a a white. It's sort of kind of, well, it's not pure white, but it's got a sort of a mottled sort of kind of white, and it's got quite a soft sort of pelt to it. So when you put your hand on it, you go through it. It's a beautiful looking beast. It sort of seems relatively comfortable. It doesn't seem to be too sort of kind of spooked. You're far further away from the smelly dragonborn that sort of spooked him before and stuff. So he sort of seems a bit more at ease. As you sort of stroke it, it starts sort of looks at you, and then sort of it turns around and starts to walk slowly towards another section of the forest.
Okay, so I suppose Tharval is going to cautiously follow it
Okay.
with Nunuk in tow, but at a distance, again, not to spook it.
Yes. As you let's see. There's a couple of ways I could do this. Am I going to do that? Am I going to do that? Yeah. All right. Okay. Why not? Okay. So, it sort of kind of starts leading you towards this. No, do I want to do that yet? Do I? Okay, I'm gonna have to think about it now. We'll go back to Thomas and Lance while I have a sort of kind of think about that. What are you guys doing then? Everybody's pretty much gone, bar you, you three.
I'm gonna pull Ogma's balance back out of my pack and say, this is quite the interesting article. A lot more than I was expecting.
I think you'll find that pretty much defines best part of the last month or two.
This,
Almost.
by my estimation, seems to collect the darkness from the beings that we've encountered, and is offset only marginally by some of the light that has helped us on our way. At the moment, it's very, very out of balance, and I can see the dark is trying to take over not just the staff, not just the essence inside, but it's seeping out to try and corrupt me as well.
As you
It's
sort of,
definitely a trying time.
as you're sort of kind of saying that, Senway sort of kind of makes her way over to you. She sort of kind of stands up, puts her hand on Val's head, and sort of kind of walks over to you as you're saying this. And she says, Ogma is the patron of the druids. As I grew up, my druid, what are they called? My school? Circle, yeah, my druid circle, yeah. Worshipped him and the forests that he created. Freya, you may not know, but Freya was created by Ogma. And in everything there is balance. The darkness that resides in this staff will try its best to use you for its own means, and it will provide you with great power, and in some cases you may need to use it, but with I was going to say with great power becomes great responsibility, but with
Okay, I'm cool,
yeah, with that you need to understand that to use darkness without light is to surrender yourself to the night, and using too much of it will end in darkness, and I should know. She says you need to bring balance. You need to be balanced to balance, and to do that you need to find light to fill the other side. In most cases, darkness comes from the souls, the unwilling souls of those who you vanquish, and the light comes from the voluntary light of those who choose to enter its service. there is another way though to add balance to this staff, and that is to disenchant holy weapons, to fill its its vessels.
You're not having Holy Avenger.
That's fine. I'll take the spear.
No! That's my inheritance, you asshole.
It's fine. He won't take it. He'll just wait until you're not paying attention and talk you into saying yes.
I'll borrow it while you're not listening.
Yeah,
He said we needed a rogue.
he'll pick it up and he'll just be like, "Ha ha!" That's be a sword, and it's just like doesn't do very much. Like, all right, shit, this thing doesn't work anymore.
So what you're saying is the balance.
Basically, basically every bad guy, you know, basically it's going to be any sort of kind of main bad guy you defeat is going to fill up the darkness. Any sort of you can either make people volunteer, or they will voluntarily give. They have to voluntarily give themselves to the balance to fill up the light. You can't just kill a nice person because that's not a voluntary sort of.
No.
It has to be, you know, with the balance. You know, it's the fact that the darkness, they don't want to be there, so they're taken. Whereas the light has to sort of want to be there to help. So it sort of gives itself freely to it. So you can't just go out and kill random people who are good, because then you're not going to get it. I thought about that, and I thought you were just going to go off on a murder and spree and start killing sort of.
Would we do a thing like that?
I considered it briefly.
But yeah, you can sort of like holy relics and things like that will sort of, because they're imbued with you know, the good of Freya and stuff, so that they can be disenchanted and used to sort of help fill that. But
I must ask.
Yeah.
That obviously we are talking about charging and discharging and maintaining balance. But what would happen for a product, for a construct like this, should it be broken?
She looks at the balance and she says, she takes it from your hand, and she hits it against a nearby rock, and then she hands it back to you, and she says, "This weapon is indestructible. This weapon you cannot destroy what he has created."
Had to be asked.
Indeed,
Oh,
I
God.
can feel the pull of the dark within this. I know it is out of balance.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have anything that would help me restore the light balance to offset the darkness within? Or is this something we need to find on our journey?
She says, "This is something you will need to find. I carry nothing more than the power that is within me." And the
Rachel, you said that this was a battlefield that we were upon, that the forces of good and evil have fought backwards and forwards on many occasions, and that their champions have fallen. My colleague has been known to dabble in the necromantic arts. Pray tell, might there be a way that he could appeal to some of those fallen spirits to sacrifice what they have left to assist him and to make that balance more even?
You know, she looks at Val sort of slightly nervously because she understands he's a paladin, and she
not to enslave, but to ask is
she,
my thought.
And she says, the issue you'll find that the men that died, the men and women that died in these battles, I don't know, I suppose I'm trying to think, because you will need to find you would need to find spirits who are still connected to the who have not yet left for the astral plane, who have, because of the way they died, or because of the because of the
So those that had that were left tormented or with things incomplete.
yeah, if they
Possibly we could offer them
yeah.
a freedom of balance.
Yeah, if you can find them, they may give themselves freely to help you, but be warned, there is still much darkness in this land, and you may find that you fill the wrong part up.
Well, we have things to consider,
We do.
do we not?
The only other question I would have of this artifact is, whilst it's out of balance now, is it possible for it to become too far out of balance to become a danger to myself and to my friends? Or
Yeah.
does it have a failsafe within that will prevent it from getting that far?
She says, I don't know enough about the weapon, or the gift. Sorry, she says the gift. To tell you that, I would assume that Lord Ogma would have some sort of balance, but he works in mysterious ways, and it may be just a lesson to if it's not that he doesn't care about the land, he does. It's just that there's always a lesson to be learned from his
He doesn't
teaching.
want to protect us too much,
Yeah.
that we don't get the point.
Yeah, and so I couldn't confirm that there is anything. It may be that there is, but it may be that it will sort of rise and rise and rise, and one day it will take you, and that will be the lesson, and it will be up to your friends to learn that lesson and avenge your avenge you.
Question. As a construct, as a Warforged, I'm animated by contained magic in place of a normal life force. Do you think that which drives me has anything in common with that which he's holding?
She nods. She says, "Yes, Warforged. There is much light within you. There's much light within you. Many warriors have obviously freely given themselves to make you who you are. Is exactly the same thing."
There's thinking about.
Okay. But Draken, you've sort of made your little sort of. Actually, no. Val, when this is going on, is there anything you sort of kind of want to say? Do?
I assume I'm too far away to have heard the conversation, right?
Well, you can. She.
All right. Well, I could have walked over halfway through.
Yeah.
Valashul says, if I imbued a weapon with holy energy, would that suffice as a minor charge, or does it have to be a person giving their light?
It has to be a. It has to be a relic of renown, or of you giving a part of yourself won't do anything.
It's worth a shot. And that's it. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
sit down with Lance and Thomas.
Okay.
Friends.
As sort of like she's speaking, by the way, Thomas, you're still hearing little voices and stuff in your head, kind of saying, "Yes, we will make you powerful, Windsor. We will make you great. All that you want, armies of dead, gold, knowledge, whatever you want, we
Okay, I will thank Senway for her time. Thank you, my lady. I'll put the staff back away. Nod to Valishul and enjoy the afternoon now, aren't we?
Yeah, in the afternoon.
I'll enjoy the afternoon breeze.
Okay. All right. Okay, so Draken. You've made the sort of you what is it? What was it you called it? Sorry.
Just piling some stones
Yeah.
on the remains. So that
And as you've done that, you've sort of turned around and Tharval is gone again. So what are you gonna do?
Draken picks up the axe, puts it on his back holster, sling. What pays his respects once more to the warrior, and then retraces his steps.
Okay, give me a survival check. Yep. Okay. So you start kind of making your way back the way you came. You can sort of kind of pick up some of the tracks and things like that. You're not going towards where Tharval is. You're just going back towards camp.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Tharval, you sort of follow the deer into a clearing. And it sort of kind of stands at the clearing and looks over to a large sort of kind of what looks like a sort of like a cherry blossom tree. Sitting underneath the tree is a figure.
Do I recognize the person sitting there, or?
The figure is garbed in sort of dark clothes, hooded. It's using the sort of kind of the shade of the cherry blossom. In fact, no, he's not. He's sort of kind of meditating underneath it.
Tharval, he puts his hand on the handle of his rapier to ready it to be drawn, but approaches slowly. Not sort of getting within sort of reaching distance of the character, but tries to sort of move to see if he can get a better look of who it is, and make them aware of his presence.
Okay. There's two ways I can go with this. Do I do that, or do I do the other thing? Okay. Okay, so as you sort of kind of you sort of move forward, you hear a familiar voice, saying, you never were very light on your feet, brother.
Is the voice coming from the figure?
The voice is coming. Like the figure is basically, it's kind of like it's got its back to you, but it's sort of kind of in a meditative state, sort of looking at the tree.
Well, if he's calling me brother, I'll call out. What was his name? Rin.
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 Yeah, so I sort of... Tharaval will call it Rin. Is that you?
There's no reply.
Can I cast Perception on the glade?
You're not really picking up anything unusual.
Is the deer still there?
Yeah, the deer's sort of still standing there. Yeah.
I'm going to draw my sword and approach the... Or sorry, I'm going to turn to Nanook and tell her to guard me as I approach the character with my sword drawn.
Okay. As you approach, give me a. How are you trying to approach?
So basically, I'm approaching with the blade sort of pointed at the character, but very sort of cautiously as to still sort of keep from distance and sort of call them out again to see if they reply.
As you sort of kind of approach, give me another perception check. You notice that he the figure is reaching towards his own weapon to basically strike out at you.
I shout to the figure, "Hold your blade, or I'll run you through."
The figure laughs and says, "You may not be quiet on your feet, but you always were faster than I was, brother." So he sort of kind of stands up, turns around and unhoods himself, and you see the visage of yourself. You see you see your brother, Rin, standing in front of you.
Tharaval drops his blade to the ground and falls to his knees. I can't believe it is you, brother. I was convinced in my mind that you were dead. I had heard stories of people had met you and that you were still alive, but I was starting to lose hope. Where have you been? What has happened to you?
As you sort of kind of fall to your knees, and you sort of kind of you look up, you see him you see him smile, but you can tell there's sort of more to it. He says to you that he's been searching He's been searching for you. But he's holding something. You feel like he's holding something back. He looks at you and he says, "Oh, I don't know if he sort of explains kind of what you've already heard, sort of about his sort of his travels so far. He says that he doesn't obviously mention. I can't even remember the name of the girl that we Solden's sister.
Oh.
I'd have to go digging through my notes for that one.
Yeah, as well.
Okay. So he doesn't mention that, and he doesn't sort of mention loads about sort of his capture or anything. He says that he was on the track of Gilus, and on that track he heard that you were here, and I have found you. And he doesn't sort of kind of, you can tell that, you know, he's happy to see you, but his stance shows that he's maybe slightly, there's something else there. That he's more sort of like his hand is still on his weapon.
You say that you were on the tracks of Gilus. What do you know of him? What do you know of? He asks him, basically, did he find out? You know, did he find Gilus? Does he know?
What did you do with Gilus's body, by the way? What sort of happened after you stabbed him in the head?
I think we put him down in the. Did we not put him down in the cellar or something like that? I think we did.
Yeah, I think you did, didn't you?
That what was left for him anyway?
Yeah. So he says that he knows that Gilus was murdered. That his friend had been murdered, and that he heard that you had murdered him.
Okay. This moment has been on my mind every night since I last saw Gilus. I trust he was your friend, but the news that you hear is true. I did kill him, and to this day, it has played on my mind the moment that I would tell you this, tell my own brother that I have killed his best friend. My words can give you no real comfort, as I can only imagine the anger and anguish that you feel toward me right now, despite the fact that we are blood. but Gilus has cared for you as I did when we were children for a long time. So you probably feel like I've killed your brother also. But I swear to you, I set him free. He was in a dark place, and I could see a sense of relief as he passed on.
The figure sort of kneels down beside you. And he says that, and he sort of he moves closer to you and says, what did you say to Gilus before you killed him, by the way? What was it sort of you said?
I don't think I said anything. I think I just put my head to his forehead and then just plunged the
Yeah. He comes over and says, there is dark, and it's sort of the voice changes and it says like there was darkness. There was darkness. There is darkness in all of us, brother. As he puts his head against your head and stabs you in the head, just like you stabbed Gilus. As he does that, you wake up with a shudder by the tree and the deer that was there. The single antler that was left, of the one that was jutting out, is lying on the ground beside you, and it sort of kind of walks off into the forest.
That was dark.
A little bit,
yeah. Okay.
Not happy skippy for us.
So I'm gonna have a sort of look about. Pick up the antler. Is there anybody sort of around me, or
no? You're underneath a cherry blossom. There's no sort of. You're not even sure if what was there was your brother or not. You just have this sort of kind of white, part of a white antler, there, beside you, as you wake up.
is there anything that I notice about the antler? Is there anything sort of exceptional about it or anything like that, or is it just an antler?
Well, as far as you're aware, it is just an antler. You'd have to sort of talk to somebody about it, I think.
Okay. Yeah. So, Tharaval's going to. He sort of grips the antler in his hand and looks about a bit wary of what's just happened. And he sort of turns and jogs back towards where he'd left Draken at the sort of battlefield.
Okay. As you go back, Draken is gone, but you sort of kind of easily pick up his lumbering sort of tracks through the forest and catch up with him, making his way back to the camp. So sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So I just follow the tracks back to the camp.
Yeah. So you all make your way. So you're back in the camp. Draken's got an axe. Darvel's sort of is a bit sort of unsure about what's happened, and is clutching this white antler. Senway sort of kind of greets you as you enter. Mulebrenner makes a sort of sort of what do mules do? Braze, braze as Draken sort of makes his way through the forest, and she sort of kind of laughs and nods her head, sort of like as if she understands what it's saying. And then she looks at Tharaval and the white antler. She says to you, and she says, "The forest has gifted you. The forest has gifted you something. I see, Ranger."
Tharaval looks at her confused and looks at the antler. He sort of exclaims, I don't know what you mean. I saw a deer in the forest, and its antler seemed to have fallen off somehow, or it just seems like an antler to me."
She says, "This forest is one of great power, in its formation. The battles that have been fought here, have drained its essence, but it still reaches out to pure souls, and tries to show them things. What did you see?" So she knows you've seen something. She says, "What have you seen?"
I saw a deer with two antlers, one with a single branch and the other with 5.
With 4,
I followed it.
4 and
Four,
yeah.
four, sorry. I followed it. I tried to approach it, and it allowed me to make contact with it. And it turned and walked where I followed it to a glade, upon which I met my brother, who I've been seeking for many moons. He was happy to see me, but he already knew of the evil that I'd stowed upon him in killing his friend. I knelt at his feet, and told him I was sorry, and he did to me as what I did to Gilus, and that's whenever I woke up, or appeared to. I'm not sure if what I saw is actually happened or not, or it seemed extremely real.
This is a thing. Those that sort of run, or those that sort of strive for their, those who live in regrets, or whose emotions still rule their heart, will feel as if it is real. The forest shows you the darkness that is to come, the uncertainty that will be there, and a brother's love that will be tested. This antler is a gift from the forest to help you when you need it.
How will I know when I need it?
She
Aha, I stumped you there.
she says the antler can be crafted into many objects. Its form is for you to choose. It will be Oh, I did say its form you can choose any form you wish for the antler, and that item that you choose to make from it will be your talisman, if you will, in times of great need. And in these times, trinkets and gifts from the gods is all that we have.
Okay. So do I have to carve this into something, or will it just sort of, if I sort of
No, you've got
think
to
of what it?
you've got to craft it. Basically, you've got to sort of kind of
Okay.
make it into something. Give whatever you wish. It could be whatever you want it to be and stuff.
But basically,
within
it's going to be like a trinket of some sort, yeah.
It could be, it could be a trinket, it could be a dagger, it could be a part of a necklace, it could be, arrow shafts, whatever you sort of kind of want it to sort of
Okay.
be and stuff.
Interesting.
Right. Okay. So, anything else from anybody else? Before we sort of kind of leave it for tonight.
I think I'm good for me.
Yeah, I'm good. The spear was like the haft in poor condition. It's just the spear tip that's the important bit.
Yeah, so you
Alright,
basically
cool.
the spear tip sort of pretty much looks brand new. The haft is has seen better days. Yeah. So I'll give you sort of kind of stats and stuff for the spear.
Alright, cool.
At some point, I will before next week with Lance's sort of kind of history lesson as well. Yeah. So is that it? What are you right? So before you go, then Senway says, will you leave this place now, or are you to return back to Camber Ford? Or will you linger longer to try and deal with the darkness within this place?
I think for the time being, we should return to Camberford to think and research. I don't think that we're at a level at the moment, or in a position at the moment, to be able to deal with this much darkness at once. And I fear that if we try and tangle with it too early, we may unleash more than we or others can handle at a poor time. We seem to be hopping from place to place, putting out fires. We should really probably try to avoid causing any while we're at it.
Okay. Cool.
We are also carrying
point.
Everybody turns and looks at Draken.
20,000 gold pieces.
Yeah, but all the gold and stuff went with Galandra and the
did it?
yeah, because she went off. They went off in carts and stuff, and she took it all with her, I think.
What if it got ambushed? Oh, no.
Well, there you go.
No one told me that. I've been wandering around with pockets full of change.
Me
Okay.
too.
That made the calisthenics more fun.
Okay. Cool. All right. Anything else for anything else?
I have a few more things I'd like to do. I'll probably do in downtime with you, Matt, before we leave. But I think we have outstayed our welcome, and we thank you for your hospitality.
She says, "I will come with you. I won't leave my son anymore. So until I am
That's
Big-
fine.
yeah, and until I am back to the I'm part of the earth that I come from. I will protect you and my son."
You will, of course, be welcome. And I'm sure we can make arrangements for you to have chambers of your own so that you can make yourself comfortable in between whatever errands may take your fancy.
Cool. So so she'll come with you. Simply because I think I'm not sure how much longer Danny's, obviously with the kid and stuff. So you'll need a healer, so she might as well just come with you. So she's happy to sort of kind of go with you, and we'll leave it there. So yeah, there we go. Okay, not too bad for a bit of an ad lib. So
Matt has to leave and do his homework now.
Yes, I'm gonna go and do my homework and stuff. But yeah, all right, yeah, cool. All right, so thanks a lot, everybody, for watching. Much appreciated. Again, there will be more on the Discord channels or the chat, so bits and pieces going on there. Hopefully, they're making their way back to Camber Ford, bits with Thomas, the history lesson with Lance, and that'll be it. And then we'll start off. We'll hopefully do some downtime in Camberford, and then we'll go from there afterwards, seeing where we're going to go next for next week. So yeah, for tonight, I've been Matt Geary. With me has been Michael as Tharavel.
Hi, guys.
Wes as Valashil Nostius.
Good night, everyone.
Dave as Thomas Moonstar.
The balance will be restored.
Mark as
Nice.
Lance.
Look after yourselves.
And Pete as Dragon.
Night, everyone, and take care of each other.
Night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.